This meeting is being recorded.
Okay, Miss, I'm done reading this. Uh, so
Okay. So
so water's main
summarize it.
okay, so water's main function is so the human body is basically composed 60% of water, and water's main function is as a universal solvent, right? So cytoplasm is a substance that is contract of water, or water is a major part in cytoplasm. And then water is also found between our cells. So beside our cells, there's water obviously there, and then chemical reactions take place in our body, and these are called metabolic reactions. No, metabolic reactions are those reactions that all reactions in our body that keep an organism alive. That those are metabolic reactions, and metabolic reactions can only take place if there is liquid or some type of substance present inside. So the cell must not be dry, and if the cell is dry, then the cells, sorry, the reactions just do not take place. So water is needed for that as well. And besides that, our blood is composed of a liquid called plasma, and plasma also contains a lot of water, or is composed of mostly water. And there are a lot of substances that are dissolved inside of plasma or our blood, and the blood itself transports the substances such as glucose or amino acids, and water needs to be present in order for those substances to be absorbed and then transported throughout. And then there's another example mentioned about the waste products. So it talks about how what do you call it, urea is from the blood. Sorry. The kidneys remove a toxic what do you call it? The kidneys remove a waste product called urea, and the urea basically gets dissolved with the water in the blood, and then it gets transported out through the our excretory what do you call or uh
Urea, waste product.
yeah, yes, waste product.
So to summarize, we can say that water is the life of our body. And although, water has no caloric value, it doesn't give you any energy in the form of calories or kilocalories. But without water, nothing can function because our body is entirely liquid from inside. Cells are liquid, cytoplasm is liquid, substances are dissolved in a liquid, and that's water. And water is also a universal solvent, so that makes, that gives water a very excellent property that can do this thing. It is carrying substances to cells. It is providing a liquid medium for cytoplasmic reactions to take place, and it is also providing a medium to rid our body of metabolic waste products, right? So water is life, and we are made up of water basically. So this is a kind of a like an easy question, okay, an easy question, structured question, which can be asked in paper 4. So I think if this comes, we should always attempt it. And let's move on to the human digestive system, right? And I really don't know why have they drawn the diagram of a wolf to show the human digestive system. This is actually, ununderstandable for me. Okay, so the part or the system of the body, since you've done cells, tissues, organs, and systems with me, Hamza. So the digestive system is a system which is responsible for the breaking down of the food particles so that they can be absorbed and they can be made of use to your body. Now, before we begin this, I would like to tell you that although we use digestion as a very common word, I would say कि अच्छा हम food digest करते हैं, right? But if we look at it, if we dig deep into the meaning of digestion, we would say that it's actually a combination of 4 processes. What are those 4 processes? Ingestion, Ingestion means taking the meal into your mouth. For example, they should have shown a human being. It's actually bothering me. For example, if you take a sandwich and you put it into your mouth, so that is ingestion. Once you ingest it, of course, your stomach and your intestines will be breaking the large sandwich or the piece of bread or pizza or whatever into small particles. So, digestion is the conversion of large insoluble molecules into small soluble molecules. Okay, because always remember that all our cells, and especially when you're talking of animal cells or mammal cells, they are surrounded not by a cell wall but by a cell membrane, and the cell membrane is partially permeable, which means it can only allow substances which are small and soluble to pass. It can't allow substances which are big and insoluble, right? So digestion happens, and then the third step is absorption. You've broken down your food particle into small things, right? Into their components. Let's say that your food was protein. What is the smallest unit of a protein? Yes, Hamza?
Amino acids. Miss.
Amino acids. So your digestion means you've broken down proteins to amino acids. You've broken them down, but they are still of no use unless and until your body absorbs the protein. And when I say your body absorbs the protein, means the amino acids should move into the blood. Amino acids and proteins and gosht and burger, jo bhi aap khate hain, it's of completely no use to you unless and until those amino acids have been absorbed into your blood. So this is absorption. And the fourth step is egestion. Egestion means that all that food which has not been digested is removed from the body in the form of, you can call it stool or you can call it feces. Although, you know, they should have mentioned one other step also, which when I'm teaching digestion, I always use that step, and that is before egestion, there should be, I think this should be the fifth step, right? And the fourth step should be, I'm now writing the fourth step. The fourth step is assimilation. Assimilation means that all the food that you have absorbed into the blood, it's only in the blood, but it hasn't become a part of your cell. Okay? It hasn't gone into your cells. It hasn't been made use of. For example, tell me, suggest one use of amino acids in your body.
Amino acids suppose to produce enzymes.
Okay, so if your body wants to, let's say, make enzymes, or if your body wants to make a new muscle protein, if you're an athlete, you're working in a like you are doing heavy workout every day, so you want to gain muscle mass. So for that, you need amino acids to be used to convert them into a protein, which is the muscle protein. So the conversion of the absorbed food products and making them a part of your cell protoplasm is assimilation. Or in other words, I would say, you know, assimilation is the utilization Can you guess which organ is that?
Which is utilization of absorbed food. The organ which plays a vital role in assimilation is small intestine.
No.
Wait, assimilation is the utilization of absorbed food substances. So it uses the absorbed substances, right? Okay, so which organ uses absorbed substances? So absorbed substances can be carbohydrates, nutrients, proteins, and liver.
Yes,
Okay.
very important organ. Very. It's doing so much that you can't even imagine. It's doing a lot of work. And since it has to do
Yeah.
so, I think I would say it is the busiest organ of the body. And it
What
only,
about the heart?
heart is also busy, but liver is too busy, far
How
too
so?
busy. Huh. Yes, because you see, liver has to do many things. Heart is just repetitively doing the same thing again and again and again. Okay? Liver has to be more creative. In fact, liver has to do a lot of things, lot of workload on the liver, and that's why, you know, the only time the liver gets rest is when we are fasting, and especially during the month of Ramadan, the liver actually gets to rest a lot, and that's why it's said that basically the job, one of the topmost jobs besides other jobs of the liver is to detox your body, right? That's why it said that in fasting, the liver uh, gets a chance to detox your body much more as compared to doing other jobs. Because when we are eating now, we are constantly giving this task of utilization of absorbed food substances to the liver. So it keeps on doing this job and hardly gets time to detoxify. But when we are fasting, especially in the month of Ramadan, then our body is actually detoxed. And that's why, you know, one of the very what do you say, benefits of fasting is that your whole body gets detoxified, especially in the month of Ramadan. So it's a wonderful organ, right? Okay, see, they have mentioned assimilation over here. So it's all repetition, but I would still like you to go through these bullet points very quickly so that we can move on. We call it the gut. I'll use the
This
word.
meeting is being recorded.
It irritates me so much. Okay, the long tube running from the mouth till the anus is known as the alimentary canal, or you can also call it the gut, or I'll just give you other synonyms of it, or you can call it the gastrointestinal tract. It's a tract, it's a tube, right? Acha. Alimentary canal, gut, or gastrointestinal tract. The long tube that runs from the mouth to the anus. Now, the liver is not a part of the long tube. Liver is an organ which is found aside of the long tube. Why? Look at this diagram. And this question is sometimes asked. Now, I'll be using my cursor to show you this long tube. So the tube starts from your mouth, esophagus, stomach, duodenum, ileum, and then your large intestine, and then your rectum and the anus. So this is your gut, right? You call it the gut, or you can call it the alimentary canal. You can see that liver is not a part of the alimentary canal, or it's not a part of this long tube. But we say liver is an organ which is associated with the digestive system. It plays a role in the assimilation of food. So although it's not a part of the gut, but it's an organ which is necessary for assimilation. So this thing should be very clear. Yes, Hamza, any questions?
No, it's sort of okay.
No, it's okay.
But could you just repeat it? Could you repeat the process once more, please?
The process or the definition of the gut? I haven't started the process.
Oh, sure, the definition of gut then, because I was listening how you said that it would pass through it.
Acha, acha. See, I actually just want to show you what do you mean by the word gut. The word gut or the word digestive system or the alimentary canal means the long hollow tube which starts from the mouth, goes down your food pipe, which is the esophagus, then your stomach, then this part of the intestine. See, I'm going round and round and round, and it's actually a continuous tube. It's just twisting here and there, and we end over here. So this part which I have highlighted is your gut or your alimentary canal. Liver, which is this one, is not a part of this tube. Is it a part of this tube? It's not a part of this tube, right? So it's something which is separate from the gut. But yes, we can't ignore the fact that liver plays a role in the digestive system. Another very important organ that plays a role in the digestive system is the pancreas. I'll show you the pancreas. So this leaf-shaped organ, I'm actually outlining it right now, is the pancreas. It also plays a role in digestion, but it is not a part of the gut. Then there is a tiny organ, another organ which is known as the gallbladder, right? This one, which I am actually circling. In fact, I should use a different pen. Yes, this is the gallbladder. This is also a tiny organ where some secretions are stored. It also plays a role, has some connection with the digestive process. But again, the gallbladder, the liver, and the pancreas are organs associated with the system. They have a role in assimilation, but they are not a part of the gut. Is that clear?
Yes.
Right? Sure. So, okay. Read this paragraph.
The elementary canal goes along. Mouth summary. It starts off by
This meeting is
saliva
being
made by
recorded.
salivary glands in the mouth.
Mhm.
It's a mixture of three things, which is water, mucus, and salivary amylase. So water helps dissolve the food substances. Mucus helps the broken down food to stick together and form a bolus, which can be swallowed. And salivary amylase starch breaks down starch into maltose, and then incomplete digestion of starch. So this is not where starch has been completely broken down yet. And water and mucus are physical digestions, in which it's only basically being physically digested, and then salivary amylase, or that process in which starch turns into maltose, is chemical digestion.
Is this clear now?
Yes, it is. It's really clear.
Okay, so let's go back to this where we were. Actually, these paragraphs are giving you an overview of the entire digestive system. So first they gave you an overview about the mouth, and then they are now giving you an overview about the esophagus. Esophagus, the word phagus in Latin or Greek means to eat, phagus. And esophagus is actually a scientific name for the food pipe or the long, narrow tube through which we swallow down our food, right? So,
Yeah.
yes, I'll also read it in front of you, and then I'll try to make it easy. So there are two tubes basically that lead down from the back of your mouth. The one in the front is the windpipe through which we, take in air down to the lungs. And behind the trachea or behind the windpipe is the food pipe, which is the esophagus, whose job is to take down food to the stomach. The hole in the center of the esophagus down which the food can pass is called a lumen. By this, they actually mean that esophagus is a hollow tube. Now, anything which is hollow has a space inside, isn't it? This hollow space. So this hollow space, which can be, your pen has a hollow space, a pipe has a hollow space. So the hollow space inside the esophagus is known as the lumen. And do you think that the esophagus should have a hollow space?
Yes.
Why?
So then the bolus can go through it easily, right?
Exactly. Similarly, not only the esophagus has a lumen, but the lumen is present in all parts of the alimentary canal. That's why we say it's a continuous tube. And that's why we say liver is not a part of this tube. Liver is not a part of the gut, right? Not only the gut is having a lumen, the entire gut, but your blood vessels also have a lumen, the artery and the veins. Acha. Just as we had a sphincter, the sphincter muscle that was found at the place where the stomach ended, we also have a sphincter which is found near the entrance to the stomach from the esophagus. Acha. the muscle relaxes to let the food pass into the stomach and then contracts to close the entrance again. How? You will see it on this diagram. So there you can see, now see, look at my highlighter. First, I'll zoom out. Your esophagus, the bolus is passing down. The esophagus is ending over here, right, at this line. And now I'm zooming into it. So let me make a boundary line between the esophagus and the stomach. So this is the boundary line. Just as this boundary between the stomach and the duodenum was guarded by a ring of muscle, which is known as the sphincter muscle. Similarly, we have a sphincter muscle over here as well. Sphincter is just like a gatekeeper, a chowkidar, right?
Okay.
Now your esophagus, this is your bolus, and you are actually gulping down your bolus, and now the bolus wants to go into the stomach, from the esophagus into the stomach. So once it goes inside the stomach, as I told you already, you need the food to be kept for 3 good hours in the stomach. So there is a chance that the food might leave early or might go back early, isn't it? Both things can happen, which is why once the food is inside the stomach, this gate is closed and this gate is closed. And when I say this gate is closed, I mean that the sphincter muscle over here is contracted and the sphincter muscle over here is also contracted, tightly closed. And, you know, in order to give you a feel of the sphincter muscle, when we have to, you know, we have 2 other sphincters. Don't you think we can control? Sometimes we have the urge to pass urine and we can control it. Can we control it?
Yes, we can.
When we can control it, it means it's a sphincter muscle. Acha. As far as the urinary sphincter and the, you know, the sphincter which is surrounding our anus is concerned, that is under voluntary control. We can control it. But these sphincters, do you think we can control the esophageal sphincter and the stomach sphincter?
Not really, no.
Not at all. We don't even know what's happening inside. So basically, these are those sphincters which are completely under involuntary control. And then there are some other sphincters which are under our control. Like we can hold our urine and we can even hold our feces, right? So whether they are involuntary or whether they are voluntary, their task is the same. They are, when we want to close the sphincter, the muscle is contracted. And when the sphincter has to open up, the muscle is relaxed. Right?
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So going back, it talks about the sphincter, and then this is it about esophagus. Remember one thing, there is no digestion taking place in the esophagus. No physical or chemical digestion in the esophagus. No enzyme in the esophagus. Okay, so if anybody asks you what's the job of the esophagus, it only acts as a passageway, a passage to put the bolus down from the mouth down to the stomach. That is it. Or koi function nahi hai. No digestion, no physical digestion, no chemical digestion. Right? So the easiest part of the gut is to remember or to study is the esophagus. Then we move on to the stomach. Now the stomach is a bag-shaped structure. It's a bag like this. It's a bag like this, which you have the esophagus, and then the esophagus is continues with this bag, and this bag is known as the stomach. This bag has strong muscular walls, and by means of these strong muscular walls, the muscles will contract and relax rhythmically to mix the food with the enzymes and mucus. Just as we had enzymes and mucus in our mouth, we also have enzymes and mucus in the stomach, right? Let's see what the stomach does. So this is your bag of, which is known as the stomach, this one. Let me rub all this to show you. Food stays for 3 hours in the strong muscular bag. Because of its strong muscles, it can actually contract and relax rhythmically. And in doing so, not only physical digestion, but chemical digestion also takes place, which means mixing of mucus with the enzymes. Acha, everywhere we have mucus, Hamza, it is actually the goblet cells which are making the mucus. So this means that we had goblet cells in the mouth, the salivary glands were making mucus, whereas in the stomach, we have the goblet cells which are making mucus, right? And what is mucus? It's a sticky, slimy substance which helps in, sort of dissolving the food and lubricating the food and mixing of the food with the enzymes, right? So I'm just reading from this paragraph. Like all parts of the alimentary canal, or you can call it the gut also, it's an easier word to remember. The stomach wall contains goblet cells which secrete mucus. It also contains other cells which produce enzymes and others which make HCl, hydrochloric acid. I'll tell you about that. The enzymes produced in the stomach digest proteins, so they are proteases. Acha. The stomach produces HCl, and of course, it's an acid, so it has a low pH, about a pH of 2. And the job of the HCl is that because of its very low pH and high acidity, it can kill all the harmful microorganisms in the food. हमने गंदा खाना खा लिया, for instance, and we are eating street food and food from outside, from restaurants, which have a high chance of contamination. So the HCl is going to kill all those harmful bacteria. Not only it kills the bacteria, but it also is the optimum pH. Remember, have I done enzymes with you? Yes, Hamza, have I done enzymes with you?
You have, miss. I do remember this.
So what do you mean by optimum pH?
Optimum pH is simply the pH at which enzymes work best. For instance, in our stomach, the pH level is 2. So there are proteases, what do you call enzymes found within our stomach, right? Their main job is to break down proteins into amino acids. So those are proteases, and they work best, or their optimum temperature is 2, which is acidic. So P2 pH.
Okay,
So that's it.
Okay, so if I ask you, which nutrient is digested in the stomach?
Which new proteins?
And what are the enzymes responsible for that? What's their name?
Proteases?
Proteases. And the optimum pH is?
2.
2. The goblet cells inside the stomach secrete what?
The goblet cells inside of the protease?
No. Read the paragraph.
Sorry, mucus.
And then there are other cells which produce enzymes and HCl, right? And what is the function of HCl? It has a dual function. What is that?
Kills harmful microorganisms in the food.
And
it's an optimum pH for protease enzymes.
Correct. Let's move on to the next part of the digestive system, which is the duodenum. Where is the duodenum? Let me show you. In fact, it's more obvious on this diagram. Have a look. Okay. I will now color the duodenum, okay? So see, I'm going to color stomach using blue. Okay, so this entire thing is the stomach, and now this is the duodenum. Look at this part carefully. Duodenum is a C-shaped organ. It's a very small organ and it's C-shaped. It ends over here. That's it. Can you see this? C-shaped.
Yes.
That's the duodenum. Basically, you know what, Hamza, now try to understand this point. When stomach finishes and duodenum starts, basically it is the beginning of the small intestine. The small intestine is made up of 2 things, the duodenum and the ileum. So this part is the duodenum, and then after the duodenum, this part which you see, I'm actually, the one which is twisting around is the ileum. So the C-shaped part, duodenum, and this twisted part is the ileum, and duodenum and ileum together make up the small intestine. The small intestine is that part of your gut where the maximum digestion takes place. Maximum digestion and maximum absorption takes place. You know why? Because you see, what was the only nutrient that was digested in the mouth? Tell me.
What was the only nutrient that was digested in the mouth? Carbohydrates.
Good. What was the only nutrient digested in the stomach?
Proteins.
Very good. Now, the nutrients that are digested and absorbed in the small intestine are all proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. Okay, another question. Was the digestion of carbohydrates completed in the mouth or was it incomplete?
Completed. It was incompleted, miss.
Correct. Was, acha, now coming to this part, the digestion of the proteins in the stomach is also incomplete. Proteins are only broken down to polypeptides over here. They are not broken down to amino acids. Okay. So this and one more thing is that of course fats were not even digested in the stomach, neither in the mouth. So to sum up, we can say small intestine is that part of the gut which not only completes the digestion of proteins and carbs, which was left incomplete in the mouth and in the stomach respectively, but it also completes the digestion of fats. So a very important part of the gut is the small intestine, which is a combination of duodenum and ileum, where all the nutrients, they are digested completely and they are also absorbed completely.
Okay.
Okay, so now Hamza, you will read this paragraph yourself and I will ask you some questions. I'm waiting.
Pancreas. It follows along the
This meeting
pancreatic
is
duct
being
into
recorded.
the duodenum. Pancreatic juice contains many different enzymes, so chemical digestion continues in duodenum. So is duodenum a part of what do you call the small intestine?
Yes, it is.
Okay, that's a part of small intestine, and pancreas are basically slightly above the small intestine, right?
Yes, yes. I'll show you this diagram
Okay.
and it will be clear to you. Have a look.
Yeah. So then the pancreas basically secrete a fluid, which is the pancreatic fluid or something, and then the duodenum basically carries that fluid, correct?
It carries the
Okay.
fluid, but then actually, you know what? Let's say, for example, if this is the pancreas, right? This leaf-shaped organ is the pancreas, and you can see a tube-like structure which is running through the pancreas, which is known as the pancreatic duct. If we just follow the pancreatic duct, we can see where is it opening? Is it opening into the duodenum?
Sorry, miss?
Is the pancreatic duct opening into the duodenum?
Miss, your voice is a bit blunty. I'm not sure why.
Okay, wait.
Just- just-
Is my voice clear now?
It's better, but there's some kind of like it's kind of like some wind is on your mic or something. I'm not sure.
Okay, now is it better?
Yeah, much better.
Acha. So what I was saying was that in this diagram, which I have zoomed in, you can see
Yeah.
you can see the pancreas, right? And you can also see a duct, a tube-like structure, which is running through the center of the pancreas, which is known as the pancreatic duct. So if you follow the pancreatic duct till the end, you will see that it's opening into the duodenum. Is that visible to you?
Yes, it is, miss.
So basically what they are trying to explain you, and with that I'll end today's session, is that this pancreas is nothing but a gland that secretes digestive juices. And these juices are rich in enzymes. So the pancreas will pour its pancreatic juice, which is rich in enzymes, into the duodenum so that the duodenum can complete the digestion of proteins, fats, and carbohydrates, right? This is what they were trying to explain you. Is that okay?
Yes, miss, it is okay.
Right. So with this, we'll end because I think we've done a lot today. and you must also be tired. So
Kind
yes,